Okay, so we're all about that affiliate marketing life here, right? And turning those skeptical eyes into actual buyers. Am I right?
That's the dream, isn't it?
Totally. And I hear there's this prosecutor's method that's supposed to be like the secret weapon.
It's definitely a powerful tool. Think less cheesy sales pitch, more like building a rock-solid court case. You want to win over your audience, right?
I'm intrigued. So instead of just yelling about how awesome my product is, I got to come armed with evidence.
Exactly. In a world drowning in marketing noise, that's how you cut through. It's about trust.
Makes sense. People can smell BS a mile away these days.
100%. So with this method, you're not just claiming your product is great, you're proving it, just like a lawyer presents a case. And luckily for us, we've got Todd Brown's work to guide us. He's had some really cool insights, especially for online product reviews, which seems to be your jam.
It is. So tell me, how does this prosecutor's method actually play out in the real world?
All right, picture this. You're the prosecutor, your product is the star client, and your audience. They're the jury. Step one, just like in a courtroom drama, is all about presenting the case.
Okay, I'm setting the scene. Lay it on me.
But here's the twist. Instead of some crime, you're focusing on a problem your audience is dying to solve.
Oh, so start with empathy. Like, hey, I feel your pain with this annoying problem.
You got it. You really want to dig deep into their pain point, what keeps them up at night, those anxieties, the struggles. It's all about connecting with their experience before you even mention your product.
Right, no jumping in with the hard sell right off the bat.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So the stage is set. We've presented the problem. What happens next? Do I bring in the smoking gun? Or in this case, like, the miracle product?
That's where the real magic happens. You present your product or service as the solution, but, and this is huge, it can't just be empty promises. This is where that proof we talked about comes in.
Ah, okay, so like, show me the receipts.
Exactly. We're talking hard facts, research, those juicy statistics, anything that backs up your claims. You've got to make them believe this isn't just marketing fluff.
I feel like I need to channel my inner scientist. Data, data, data. Okay, but let's be real for a sec. People are skeptical by nature, right? I'm sure they'll have some objections. How do you handle those curveballs?
And that, my friend, is where things get really interesting. You've got to anticipate those doubts. What are those potential objections they might have? Figure those out, and then you hit them head on.
So it's like preempting the defense attorney before they even object.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
Just like a good lawyer would counter arguments with logic and evidence, you do the same. Address those concerns, but always with more of that sweet, sweet proof we talked about.
Anticipate, counter, evidence. Got it. Now imagine we're at the climax of this courtroom drama. We've laid out the facts, tackled the objections. But what's the thing that really sways the jury in those final moments?
Think about those witness testimonies, the ones that are super emotional, relatable, and make the whole case feel real. You need that human element to seal the deal.
It's that human connection, right? People trust other people, especially when they're like, hey, that's just like me.
100%. And in the marketing world, those witnesses we need. They're your testimonials and case studies. This is where you show off those amazing people singing your product's praises.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. So instead of me saying my product is amazing, I need to let someone else do the talking. Let them say it.
It's way more believable coming from someone who's actually used it, right? Someone who's seen real results.
It makes total sense. People trust experience. But speaking of different perspectives, what kind of testimonials really pack the biggest punch? Is there a magic formula?
It's a great question. It all comes down to your product and audience. You've got your classic text testimonials. Those are great for website copy and building social proof.
Right, those little snippets that catch your eye.
Exactly. But then you've got those video testimonials. Those can be insanely powerful, especially when you're talking online courses or digital products. Seeing and hearing someone genuinely stoked, there's just nothing like it.
Oh yeah, the energy is totally different on video. You can really feel the enthusiasm.
And of course, you can't forget about influencer testimonials. Those carry a lot of weight, especially if they're respected in your niche. People trust their recommendations.
It's like that stamp of approval from someone they already admire. Makes sense. Okay, so choose the right type of testimonial, tailor it to my audience. Got it. But I can't just slap a few testimonials on my website and call it a day, right? There's got to be more to it.
You're right. You don't want to just sprinkle them randomly. You've got to strategically weave those testimonials throughout all your marketing efforts.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Strategic.
Think sales copy, landing pages, even your email marketing campaigns. The key is to make sure those testimonials are believable, relatable, and address those doubts and objections we talked about.
So strategic placement is key. And of course, keeping things authentic, those genuine stories shine through.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've presented our case, laid out the evidence. We even got these awesome witnesses backing us up. What's the final word? What's the closing argument in this courtroom drama we've got going on?
Time for the big finale. This is your call to action, my friend. This is where you tell them exactly what you want them to do. Buy that product, visit that website, sign up for that free trial. Whatever that next step might be, make it crystal clear.
No room for ambiguity here.
Exactly. You want to make it ridiculously easy for them to say yes. Like, think of a giant shiny button they can't resist clicking.
Make it a no-brainer. Gotcha. Now, I know we've got that awesome Sugar Defender example from the materials we're looking at. How would I use this prosecutor's method to sell something like a health supplement, especially to folks who are skeptical about, well, pretty much everything these days? It feels like a tough sell.
You're not wrong. People are definitely wary of health supplements. There's just so much information, it's easy to get lost in the noise, but that's where this method really shines. You cut through that noise with cold, hard facts. Logic. Evidence. That's the name of the game.
Music to my ears. So walk me through it. How do we actually do that?
Okay, so remember how we talked about starting with empathy? It's crucial here. Instead of jumping right into how awesome Sugar Defender is, you start by acknowledging their struggle. Managing blood sugar, it's not easy.
Right, you're meeting them where they're at.
Exactly. Talk about the challenges of diet and exercise, maybe even touch on those anxieties about long-term health. You connect with their pain point.
So I'm basically saying, hey, I get it. Living with high blood sugar is tough, but you're not alone. Something like that.
You nailed it. You're building common ground, showing them you understand. And then, only then, do you bring in Sugar Defender as a possible solution. But, and this is huge, you back it up with solid evidence.
Show me the receipts. Love it.
Right. Talk about those scientifically proven ingredients. Cite those clinical studies showing how well it works. And, of course, bring in those testimonials from real people who've seen killer results.
And those testimonials, to make them extra credible, I'd want them to be from people just like my target audience, right?
Yeah.
People who've been struggling with this for years and finally found something that worked.
Exactly. The more relatable those stories are, the more powerful they'll be. And remember, address those objections head on. I know there are tons of supplements out there, you might say, and you're right to be cautious. But here's the thing, Sugar Defender. It's different because, and then bam, you hit them with the evidence that sets it apart.
Okay, I'm loving this. So it's like anticipating their doubts and then dismantling those doubts with a mountain of evidence and those relatable stories. No hype, just straight up proof.
You've got it. By the end of your pitch, you've presented this super compelling case for Sugar Defender, not by using some sleazy marketing trick, but by taking this logical, evidence-based approach. And that's how you resonate with skeptical people.
It's brilliant. And you know what I love about this prosecutor's method?
Yeah.
It feels like something you could use for so much more than just selling supplements. Like, this feels applicable to life in general. It's like this whole prosecutor's method is like a superpower, not just for marketing, but like for any time you need to convince someone of something, you know?
You're hitting on something really important. This goes way beyond selling products. Think about pitching an idea at work or even just winning an argument. This method, it helps you cut through the clutter and actually get your message heard.
Because it's all about presenting your ideas in a way that's clear, credible, and impossible to ignore, right?
Exactly. And you know what's really cool about this? It forces you to think critically, not just you as the prosecutor, but your audience too. They get to be part of the process.
Okay, now you have to explain that one. How does it make both sides think critically?
So to really nail this method, you have to get inside your audience's head. What are their needs? What are they worried about? What matters to them? You can't fool people into buying into something. It's about really understanding them.
So less about being a slick salesman, more like strategic.
100%. And here's where the audience comes in. They get to be on the jury, right? And you're not dictating what they should think. You lay out the evidence, you make your case, and they get to draw their own conclusions.
It's about respecting their intelligence and trusting them to make the right decision.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole approach so powerful. It's not about trickery. It's about honest, compelling conversations that resonate.
Totally. So as we wrap up this deep dive on the prosecutor's method, any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
You got it. So think about those everyday cases you're presenting, whether it's convincing your boss to try something new at work or getting your family on board with that weekend trip you've been dreaming of. How can you use this method to be more persuasive? It's a game changer.
Such a good point. It reminds us that being persuasive isn't about manipulation. It's about clarity, credibility, and really connecting with whoever you're talking to. Who knew channeling your inner lawyer could be so effective?
It's all about building your case, owning it, and letting the evidence speak for itself. You might just surprise yourself with how convincing you can be.